to bring his ass to this ring? Give me a hell yeah! We're back once again for more SCI Wrestling. I'm WB Ward.
And I'm Chip Douglas.
We're back live and in color inside of your computer. And doggone you, I hate it when people get these smartphones out because it gets awfully cramped and crowded in here. What happened to the old-fashioned days of desktop computers?
What's wrong with smartphones?
Well, they're okay, they're cool and stuff, but when we have to sit in somebody's smartphone to deliver this show, things get a little bit, cozy. I love the room that I had when everybody had stand-up monitors and CPUs. Anyway,
they just can't fit you, Bill.
This was a heck of a week for pro wrestling, wasn't
it? Absolutely, it was.
Man, Chip, give us the lowdown on everything. At least starting off with Twitter, YouTube.
Well, yeah. First of all, we always want to promote ourselves and to give us credit where credit's due. Twitter,
cheap plugs.
SCI_wrestling. Follow us. YouTube, SCI Wrestling, and then Facebook is Squared Circle Insider Wrestling, given SCI Wrestling, and according to other people, we are not CSI Wrestling, as you mentioned last week, WB. I don't know if you caught yourself.
Did I say CSI?
Yeah, I listened to the show. I was like, oh, good to know that we're CSI Wrestling. But hey,
we are investigators.
We investigate
of
a lot,
yes.
So it makes sense.
And here, as of late, a lot of things in the wrestling world have been crimes.
So, how was your weekend?
Pretty weak.
Pretty weak. Why is that?
No, it's just not a whole lot going on for me. What about yourself?
I did a dodgeball tournament.
A dodgeball?
64 teams.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm still feeling the effects, I'll be honest with you.
I'm sure.
I work out at least 2-3 times a week, pretty
really?
Regularly. And, for you people at home, I'm 6'5", about 220. Buffed out.
Right. Don't let him fool you. Man, if he had too much dip on a cracker, his wrist would break.
So I did the dodgeball tournament, and I have never been so sore in my life.
Stood sideways and stuck at your tongue. You'd look like a zipper.
But we did well. We finished about 18th.
18th out of 60?
64, I believe it was. So it was double elimination, but we made it all the way to the final 18.
Man.
So we were proud of ourselves. We did well.
Now, see, that's something I would not do well at, because I would present such a larger target than you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that would be like a walking baseball backstop. So, I mean, that would be awful.
So I had to start off the show with a little high note there and talk about dodgeball, because we're getting ready to go on the low note. As for wrestling fans around the world, if you already don't know, we had a great wrestler pass away, Matt Bourne, aka Doink the Clown.
Yeah, and that came as a shock. Have you heard yet whether or not they've determined a cause of death?
We should know next week.
Okay, so as of this recording, this is still unknown.
No, they opened up a homicide, but
homicide.
Yeah, it went to a homicide investigation, but they do not feel that that his death was a homicide. But they opened it up as a homicide, but they have not.
Then I guess they're doing that just because of procedure.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. I dug back into the archives, and I'm afraid I don't know the specifics surrounding this particular promotion. But I did find a promo that Doink did with Mean Gene Okerlund, and this comes to us back from 1973.
Doink the Clown. I guess I heard somebody. You are a sick puppy at times.
Oh, Gene.
And you delight in that, don't you?
Sometimes I look around and this whole world just seems so hopeless. And that's what really makes me laugh. Because I look around to all of the wrestlers in the WWF, and there's so many of them that are setting their goals just a little bit too far out of reach. And me, I want nothing more than what I've got coming to me. And whether it be cutting a record or taking a title,
all right,
nothing is too far out of
Thank
the reach.
you very much. Thank you, Doink the Clown. Is this guy too much?
Well, I tell you, Matt Bourne had such a keen talent with his voice. He could have worked for Warner Brothers.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that right there was able to explain. I mean, that guy, as a kid and him being a clown, what just gave me the creeps every time. And I remember hearing stories, and I read them, especially this week, about how, he would have such an effect as a character that he'd make, kids cry in the audience, which, which relatively doesn't sound like a bright star, but when you're paid to be that character, that's a good thing, because in real terms, he got over. because, those kids would love to see guys like, Hulk Hogan beat up that clown. But yeah, he was able to capture Doink the Clown and did an amazing job at it. And it's a real sad loss for wrestling. And by the way, that couldn't have been 73. Did you say 73 or 93?
93.
93. Okay. Makes more sense.
93. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, the only thing about that kind of, forgive the use of the word disturb, because that's a little too strong. I just can't think of a better word. The only thing that disturbs me about what you just said is, coming from a bit of a circus background myself, I've always seen clowns in a positive light.
Right.
So when they started doing stuff like that with Doink and with the Killer Clown Posse a little bit later on, it just kind of seemed, I don't know, to me there was almost a little bit of sacrilege in it, because it took something that's supposed to be joyful and positive. But then I understand a lot of people have a fear of clowns.
Well, it's like the Joker from Batman.
Well, I know. And you make a valid point. But the Joker from Batman, if you just looked at him, even in the original series, as campy as they were, you just look at him and you could tell, okay, he's supposed to be an evil guy.
Right.
But the makeup on Doink,
it wasn't that evil.
No, he looked like a legitimate he could have been a face.
Right. And he was at some point. At
some point, yeah, he did flip a couple of times. Yeah. But with Killer Clown Posse, there's no mistake about it. These guys are, I wouldn't trust them to watch my kids.
Right.
No.
Right. So still great loss, and
it is. He was one of the great performers of all time. Matt Bourne was a very talented man.
Yep.
Why am I complimenting him? We're not going to get him as a guest.
No.
Okay. Not now. Oh, too soon.
On a brighter note, we do want to say congratulations to Natalia and Tyson Kidd, who's on the injured list. They just got married in Las Vegas.
Which may explain the injured list.
Yeah, so sorry to say.
Can you imagine going on a honeymoon with Natalia? Of course you're going to be on the injured list.
That would be amazing.
That would be indeed.
So sorry she is off the list for you, Bill.
No, that's okay with me. As long as we're not talking about AJ or the Bella Twins, I'm good.
Well, the Bella Twins are dating Daniel Bryan and John Cena.
No.
Yeah.
Now, Cena I could kind of understand.
Yeah, one of them, and John Cena is actually one that's in question, but Daniel Bryan 100% is dating one of the twins.
Wow. Yeah. And I have a hard time finding a date.
This is beard.
Man.
It's a beard.
Well, I've got a beard.
No, you don't. Not like him. Come on.
No. I don't have the goat face. I don't have the goat face.
Yeah. So sorry to say.
Man.
And also in breaking news.
Okay.
This just in. Mm-hmm. Ricardo Rodriguez has been suspended for 30 days by the WWE for wellness policy.
What, has he been doing doing a little bit of the funny stuff here? Or?
What could he there ain't no way on God's green earth that man does steroids or any kind of performance enhancing drugs.
Getting a little peyote.
If I was a betting man, that's what I would think.
Yeah, he can buy the peyote wholesale.
And speaking of Ricardo, did you happen to watch SmackDown?
No, I'm afraid I didn't catch it.
There was a scene where they had like a little party with him and Alberto Del Rio, where they had like little classical guitars.
I saw the recap.
Yeah, and did you see Dolph Ziggler hit Ricardo Rodriguez with that guitar?
Man, the honky tonk man would have been jealous of that one.
Well, I mean, it wasn't the fact that he hit him with it; it was how he hit it with him.
Yeah, he hit him with the side of the guitar,
from the side of the face. He did not hit him on top of the head like a normal guitar shot would be, where it just shatters everywhere. He went straight baseball bat on him, straight from the side of his face with that guitar.
That's got a smart.
Man, that had hurt like hell.
That has got to smart.
So it might have been his punishment, actually.
You think?
That could have been.
You think? Okay,
because he was suspended shortly thereafter.
Man, well, now that's true.
Yeah.
Well, they say the wellness, and I know one thing within the WWE, they take the drugs they take that very seriously. Of course, with the death of, what's his name? Benoit. Yeah. When drugs came into the issue on that, they really, of course, leading up to that, that's always been kind of a controversy in the WWE, but they really began cracking down on it then, now that there was, with what some people would have called blood on their hands. Mm-hmm. They at least really started cracking down after that. So now they're pretty sensitive of it. So I doubt seriously if they're going to suspend him, they would have said for wellness issues. If they were, they wouldn't have said that if it truly wasn't the case.
Right. It's 100% fact that he was suspended for wellness, because they have to make that public.
Now, the only thing, though, the term wellness does not necessarily mean drugs.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, it does.
Well, I know that's
it means he failed a drug test.
Yeah, he could have failed the drug test. It could have been maybe he had a some
had too many poppy seeds on his bagel.
Yeah. Is that what they're calling it now?
Well, no,
I've
that's
got too
true.
many poppy seeds on my bagel.
I haven't had drug tests in a long time, but I've heard never eat poppy seeds with a bagel because you could fail the drug test.
Well, okay, yeah, I could see that. I've been out on dates before where I thought I had poppy seeds on my bagel, and, and
God,
that's
yeah,
everything's
anyway,
better when it sits on a Ritz. You've heard that, I'm sure.
Speaking of sexual,
Yes.
news out of NXT is that there's a little bit of sexual harassment going on in NXT.
Please tell me it involves some of the female wrestlers.
It does.
Okay, good.
Bill DeMott, who is the head trainer for NXT,
Right.
who most people would remember as Hugh Morris,
Yeah.
or General G. Rection.
Yeah, General Erection.
Yeah, Erection. But some male wrestlers have gone out of their way to kind of talk about this. One of them being Trent Beretta, who was released a couple months ago, who made a tweet, not really saying that she was there's sexual harassment, but it goes, she was way prettier. I didn't even get sexually harassed by my strength coach, which is strength coach meaning, Hugh Morris. And then, there was another developmental star who was released who was actually Dolph Ziggler's brother, who has made some very bold, points on Twitter that he could be sexually harassing some divas or women wrestlers in developmental.
And what are these guys bragging about doing it, or they're accusing?
No. They're kind of whistleblowing.
Oh, okay.
And this is
so to speak.
Yeah. And this is after they've been released.
Did any of them mention poppy seeds on a bagel?
No, but I am on my Twitter right now. It might be the tweet of the week next week.
Oh man. Did they name the female?
No.
So they're not saying who the ladies are who are being harassed.
No, not at all.
I wonder if it could be anybody we've heard of.
It could be. Could be. I mean, they may believe that's going on right now. So it could be just females that are NXT right now.
Well, and they may not be wrestlers.
You're right. They might just be like valets.
Yeah. Well, they may not even be on the performing side. I mean, there are an awful lot of people who work for WWE.
They've made it known that it is talent.
It is talent.
Yeah. Female talent.
Well, maybe they were grading. Well, never mind. But yeah, you mean performing talent in the ring, or at least in front of the cameras.
Right.
Okay. Wow. That's, that is pretty, that's pretty amazing.
So,
okay. We still got a little bit of time here before our first break.
Are we ready to get to the tweet of the week?
Yeah, sure.
All right. You heard me laughing before we started the show.
Yeah. What in the world was that about?
I found this Twitter handle, and thanks to MLW podcast for finding this for me. It's called Cranky Vince, and this is someone within WWE that quotes Vince McMahon. So it actually gives you a real portrayal of who Vince McMahon is backstage. And there is a lot of controversy backstage with WWE about this Twitter account, to the fact that there has been legal letters sent to writers of WWE to the fact that you need to stop doing this. So this is like kind of like some shady stuff going on, but it's absolutely hilarious.
Okay.
So from everything I gathered, this is real stuff that Vince McMahon is saying.
Okay.
So this is the tweet of the week, brought to you by Cranky Vince.
All right.
Great. Just sat down and one of my nuts blew a flat.
That brings back memories of when he was yelling that he was a genetic jackhammer.
Exactly. That's the grapefruits. Apparently, 68 years old, I can imagine he's had a flat.
I imagine so. Yeah. Imagine the tread is a little bare.
Yeah. So,
man, you notice that there's an ongoing theme in this week's show so far?
What's that?
Well, we started out with poppy seeds on a bagel, and now look where we've wound up.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, man.
So, you want to talk about what we have coming up?
Yeah. Fill me in, please.
Yeah. Later here in the show, we're going to have a friend of mine. He's a super fan. His name's Marcus Hathcock. He's going to be on the show to do the weekly recap with us and talk a little bit about Money in the Bank. And then also later on, we're going to have our holy crap moments. here on SCI Wrestling.
The holy crap moments. Oh, I know I have my holy crap moment in mind. Some of the events, and of course what you're referring to, just to keep everything straight, are just some of those moments that you saw over the years on WWE or maybe even on some other promoter, where you just looked at the TV and you went, holy crap, I can't believe that happened. And they've certainly been providing a lot of fodder for material like that. Stick around. We have that Marcus Hathcock as our guest, and be recapping Raw here in just a few moments. And then later on this hour, it's going to be the biggest holy crap moments of history right here on SCI Wrestling. SCI. I spelled it right that time.
You're struggling with your mortgage. You think about it all the time.
What are we going to do if we lose the house?
It's time to stop thinking and start dialing. Call 1-888-995-HOPE for a free government program that offers expert one-on-one advice about your mortgage options. We've helped over 1 million homeowners, and we want to help you. Call 1-888-995-HOPE or visit makinghomeaffordable.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Treasury, HUD, and the Ad Council.
If you enjoy Ward's Daily Almanac on the radio, chances are you'd love Ward's Daily Almanac in book form. And WB is working on this, but needs your help. To donate, search for Ward's Daily Almanac on Kickstarter.com or go to WBWard.com and click on the word Kickstarter. There you can watch a video about the project and learn about great rewards for giving. That's Kickstarter.com and search for Ward's Daily Almanac or WBWard.com and click Kickstarter.
Welcome back to CSI Wrestling.
Not CSI.
CSI?
No, you said CSI.
Did I?
You did it that time.
Oh,
you did it that time.
Damn it.
I heard it. All
right, well.
You misspelled SCI.
Well, it is what it is. SCI Wrestling.
And remember, I am not BW Ward.
I'm here with WB Ward.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about the WEW.
And we are here on the phone with super friend of mine, Marcus Hathcock. Marcus, how are you doing?
I'm good. Super fan.
Yeah, you like that? I didn't know what else to call you.
Yeah, you're going to have to walk around with a blue T-shirt with a huge F on your chest.
Right.
So, if I remember right, you're in Mobile, Alabama. Is that correct?
Yeah, just outside of there, L.A., Lower Alabama.
Perfect. How's the ocean or the Gulf?
Originally I'm from Hawaii, so nothing compares to that,
right.
But it's nice to be by the water, of course.
That's right. Lucky dog.
Have you been down there long enough, Marcus, to experience any of the real bad weather, like the hurricanes and stuff?
Well, the first time I lived here, I moved here the day before Hurricane Katrina hit, so yeah, I've been here for some good stuff. Yeah.
Well, we recently up here in Oklahoma, we had a tornado virtually wipe out more Oklahoma.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I understand they're going to be changing the name of the town to Les.
Oh my gosh!
Oh man! Oh, we're gonna get letters.
Oh,
great!
Oh, ouch, man!
So this segment is going to be about our weekly recap of WWE Raw. Now that we're probably going to be non-syndicated. Opening segment of Raw had the All-Stars from the Face Money in the Bank ladder match. It's going to be at the pay-per-view Money in the Bank. WB, what did you think?
Well, not much. It was all faces coming out for the All-Stars MIB match. And, if they're going to have all faces, they might as well open up a restaurant that serves nothing but crackers.
Gosh. I thought it was all right. I really thought that Sheamus was out of place. He just wasn't strong at all vocally, and even just his presence out there in the ring just didn't match everyone else.
Yeah.
I was really surprised to see CM Punk come out, and he even kind of clarified that, like when he did come out, that he's like, I don't want to be that guy to come out here and be that guy, but yet he ended up being that guy. So
yeah, and I truly believe the inside scoop on that must be I think WWE creative talent is trying to figure out who's going to be turning heel next, and based on the fan response of this, I think we can expect to see some turns.
I agree. Marcus, what'd you think?
Yeah, it was what it was. The one who I didn't see clicking is Christian, and he really hasn't been clicking with me since he came back. It's just, I don't know what's going on with me and not liking him much anymore.
Well, Marcus, one thing about Christian that I never liked was the fact, here you got people in the ring like Sheamus, people of that nature, and then you have Christian, who's got basically the build of a 12-year-old. For me, it just doesn't work.
Right. He had a good momentum going after Edge retired and all that, but it still just didn't feel, it almost felt forced. The whole time they pushed him as a main event guy.
Right.
And it just never worked for me.
Right. It seemed like he was more powerful in TNA.
Well, yeah, he's a bigger fish in a small pond there.
Right, he fit really well there. I do agree. Ever since he's come back, especially this last return, and even when he came back a couple weeks ago on Raw, he didn't have that same pop that he.
Well, no, they're pairing him with the Uso brothers. That just looks mid-card,
right.
And then throwing him in main events, it doesn't work.
Right.
Have you, Marcus? Have you ever been to a Weight Watchers meeting?
Not recently.
Well, I went to one. And when I saw the Usos and then Christian standing next to him, it looked like a pair of parents at a Weight Watchers meeting with their kid with them.
Their adopted child.
Yeah.
It's funny you went into that because the next match was Christian and the Usos versus the Shield. Yeah. Now on SmackDown, we actually saw the Usos and Christian beat the Shield. Which I've been kind of going back and forth on that. It's one of those things where, three top main event superstars couldn't beat the Shield, but yet the Usos and Christian could. I know what their strategy is, that they have to make the Usos seem believable, that they can beat Reigns and Rollins, but but on Raw they did the opposite. The Shield beat them this week. What'd you think, Marcus?
Yeah, they could have went a different route. If they're going to try and push a tag team, a tag team like that, they could have went with the primetime players or someone like that. I just don't like that the Shield, now that they get beat, they can just get beat by anybody. I don't know. I'm just not big on the Usos.
Oh, okay. So you're not big on the Usos.
Nah.
But so let me get because we're gonna have some fun right here. So, but are you big on the primetime players?
Not necessarily,
okay,
but I think they've got more potential than the Usos.
Oh,
really? I do think so. I think as a tag team, that's where they are.
Well, that's okay for you to think. That's okay for you to think that. You live in Alabama, so
there you go.
Yeah. Wow.
I just use them as an example, but you've got tons of teams you could put together or have that could go on against the Shield, because if that pay-per-view match, the Usos, and then that's that preview match. It's not even on the real pay-per-view.
Right. And the chances
they're pretty much going to lose.
And that's the whole thing, is pretty much they're setting them up to lose.
Yeah.
Yeah, so get them on a pay-per-view, get them some fans, maybe the kids will like them, and sure.
Right.
But
well, they are the first team to come back, and I'm not necessarily saying that this is a good thing, but it is a thing. They are the first team to come back, or first wrestlers to come back to wear makeup. We haven't seen that in a while.
It's true.
Face paint, man.
Yeah, who was the last person? The last person I can remember regularly using face paint. I have to go all the way back to Sting.
Well, the Warrior had at the same time.
Warrior. Yeah, I forgot about him.
Jeff Hardy did it in a different sort of way. But,
that's right. Yeah, he kind of did like
Jeff, but Jeff had that unique thing that he could do that. But other than that, nobody did it since the 80s and 90s, man.
Right.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Since Animal and Heidenreich.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, they tried to make him part of the LOD. That was horrible. Angle's gone wrong.
Okay, moving on. We got the Dolph Ziggler versus 3MB, and I don't know about you guys, but I am just thrilled that Dolph is coming out and flipping over as a face, apparently, because I think his character lends itself well to that. I find him much more believable now than when he was hiding under the skirts of Vicky.
But he didn't get over, in my opinion. Like his crowd response seemed flat to me.
Well, I think it may be a little early. I mean, come on. If somebody crawled out of underneath Vicky's skirt, you got to know it's not going to be very pleasant for a while.
I mean, and I'm a Dolph Ziggler fan. I really enjoy Dolph Ziggler's work, and I do agree with you, and I have in the past couple of shows, that I thought Dolph Ziggler would be a tremendous face, but I'm almost regretting that now. What do you think, Marcus?
Well, they were cheering for him regardless. Now they just have a reason to, and then they flipped the script and had Del Rio go back heel, so he almost has to go face now.
Right.
But, you remember after WrestleMania, man, they were going crazy when he beat him for that title.
Absolutely.
So he's already over. He's one of those guys that's over regardless anymore.
You think so?
I think so. I think he's there, man. When he, at the end of that match, you remember when he, they all kind of attacked him in sort of that impromptu where he dodged 3 guys and took them all out and got up on the table. They were going pretty good for him.
Right. Yeah, you have a point there. What do you think about his finishing move?
That I don't. It looks like it could go wrong very quickly.
The zigzag.
But yeah, it looks like he could really break a neck quick, but it does seem kind of weak. But it's better than the one he used to do, like the Famouser.
Right.
So, but
okay.
yeah.
Let's take a look at this. I think one of the biggest missed matches in the history of WWE occurred last night when Sheamus came out to the ring and faced Fandango in his return. I'm sorry. I mean, I thought as a piece of entertainment, I thought it went well. But really, Sheamus and Fandango?
Well, they're bringing Sheamus down to mid-card status.
That they are, and job well done. What can I say? Job well done.
It was good to see Fandango back. I am a closet Fandango fan, maybe because more of his theme music. I know WB is not a fan of his in-ring work.
That would explain why you wore the shirt you did.
That's true. You're not a fan of his in-ring work as much as I am. I do like him as an in-ring performer.
Do you?
And especially last night, I think he did well.
Now, I did like Sheamus's dance routine.
Gosh, I could have done away with that. Marcus, what do you think?
Yeah, it just was kind of filler in a way. I mean, I like Fandango. I don't. It seemed like he had a lot going on, and then he got hurt or whatever happened, and he's just kind of there now. And then Sheamus, that was just kind of for the kids. I don't know.
Marcus, how do you feel about the ending of that last night? Because when I watched that, I couldn't help but wonder if the match ended prematurely, if he was really over his injuries or not. Because one thing about Fandango that I never liked was I never felt he was a very good performer. But last night, I had the distinct impression he was truly hurt when he came out of the ring.
Yeah, it was kind of goofy. I didn't know what was going on. He may have been, but it was kind of a weird looking thing. It looked impromptu, yeah.
So far, there's been no news of like Fandango being injured or anything like that from what I've been able to see. But it was what it was. And speaking of filler, next match, the squash of the Miz, Ryback versus the Miz.
Man, that couldn't fill a Twinkie.
Oh, God, I mean, and I'm a Miz fan, but really, Marcus.
Yeah, it's crazy to see the Miz was headlining WrestleManias and all this, and now he's getting beat in 38 seconds or however long that was. It's been like that for a while, and it's like that Intercontinental title is nothing that he held for all of 2 weeks or whatever, and it's just a shame to see what happened.
But you got to admit, you do have to admit though, his hair looks very nicer.
It does look nice.
Oh man, he is looking good, isn't he?
Yeah. It does. And his wife. Whew.
I haven't seen
Maurice.
Oh, that's right.
Maurice? Yeah, that's his wife in real life.
Maurice.
That's amazing, right?
Yeah, good job, Miz. So I guess we really can't complain about him being a jobber.
So he probably doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't care anymore.
Does he speak French yet?
Why didn't he speak French?
Well, for Maurice.
What? I don't get where you're going.
Well, Maurice is a French girl.
Is she?
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, she's French Canadian.
Oh, she's Canadian.
Well, it's still French.
I
mean, you may live in Albuquerque, but you're still Mexican.
What?
There you go.
Next, one thing that we'll probably talk about here for a couple of minutes.
I don't speak French.
And
I do, however, kiss that way.
Do you?
Yeah. Well, never mind.
That's what I heard. skipping down my format sheet here. One thing that I was really surprised about and got me excited at the same time, they did these promos of world champions, WWE champions, and world heavyweight champions through the past. And one that stood out to me, and you probably already know where I'm going, Sting.
Yeah.
Everyone that they showed was affiliated with the WWE still now or has been, and he's the only one that they showed that has never been affiliated with WWE or WWF, and that to me is a clue to something large. And
also I think it was very significant that they featured him only in the light face paint, never the dark issue.
What do you think, Marcus?
Yeah. They, because before they never touched on stuff. There was rumors they were going to come out with a Sting DVD, and then a couple years ago, those vignettes for The Undertaker that were maybe Sting and all that. But this is the first time they've ever really, hey, Sting.
Right.
So maybe they're getting involved with something maybe down the road, slowly getting it for a WrestleMania match, Hall of Fame. But he's one of those, man, you can sit there and hope all day, but you never, in the back of your mind, you think it's never going to happen.
Right.
So you can't. I don't know, but yeah, it was interesting.
You think he might be too old?
Not even that, because really, if he's going to do anything, it's going to be one match, the one and done at WrestleMania, probably with The Undertaker. And Undertaker's gone on record before. He doesn't mind losing at WrestleMania. It's just they don't really want to do it. But for Sting, they may do a one-time, hey, that's it for both of their last matches.
Well, I'm through predicting Undertaker losing at WrestleMania.
He has predicted.
Yeah,
he has predicted for the past 3 years that Undertaker was going to lose.
Yeah, and so far, well, what can I say?
I thought it was going to happen at 25 with Michaels. I thought that was it. But after that...
Was that the first one or the second one?
The first one.
The first one?
I just never... the second one, I kind of figured, this is Michael's way of being retired. But and then Triple H and all, but really the 25, I was like, okay, this might be it, especially halfway through the match. It was crazy.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know about you two, but moving on to the next item here. If there's anything that I'm happy about right now with Raw, it's the story that they're taking with Mark Henry. Mark Henry and his feud going on right now with Cena. Now, I just love the way it's being handled. Starting first off with the so-called phony retirement with Mark Henry. I just love the way he's playing this up. Now, I say that though with the full knowledge that Mark Henry has done this very angle before. This is not the first time that Mark Henry has done what I call the sour grapes angle. That came out a few years ago where he was playing a good guy, and then all of a sudden he got fed up with being overlooked for everything. And this angle has been done by many wrestlers, but I think somehow or another this time around they're doing it the right way. At least for me, it's working for me.
Go ahead, Marcus.
Definitely. Henry, one of the biggest dark horses ever. But you know what I mean? You never had, no pun intended.
Yeah, no pun intended.
But,
okay.
It's good, man. It looks good. And I actually am in my head thinking he might win at Money in the Bank. Maybe not. Maybe they keep it going for a while, but I definitely think he takes Cena down and actually gets another title run. But I do think his retirement is in the next couple years, though.
I do agree with you. It's what he's doing right now is the best stuff that Mark Henry has ever done, period. Next to the Mae Young birth
well, nothing compares to that
of JR's head. Didn't she give birth to JR's head with the cowboy hat?
It was a hand.
It was a hand. It was a hand. That's right.
There was a weird greased up hand.
Yeah, that's right. But I do agree with you. To me, I don't think there's any way that you did not put the title on Mark Henry at Money in the Bank. He has earned it with these promos, and I really like to see him put the title on Money in the Bank, defend it at SummerSlam. And I'm still up in the air if you want him to go through SummerSlam with the title. It just depends on who he's facing. But yes, I do think that they should put the strap on him Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
Okay.
He definitely does it.
Punk and Axel versus primetime players. Primetime players, I just don't, I'm sorry, I'm just not with them. I'm going to go, okay, I'm just going to ignore them altogether. However, I'm waiting for the time when they come up with a match where Punk has it and they have him attacking Paul Heyman. I'm surprised it didn't happen last night.
I think it's coming.
You're going to wait till SummerSlam.
You think it's on
It happens
SummerSlam?
before I think they're building this. This is why I don't think Punk wins the Money in the Bank match. He's going to get close to or be right there, and either Brock and Heyman or just Brock. This is building to a Brock Punk SummerSlam match for sure.
I agree.
I agree.
So Heyman's coming in doing something, whether he's not actually there, and it's all this, oh, did I do it or did I not? And then something happens. But that's what's going on there. They're building off of Axel and all the Heyman guys, and really for this Punk Lesnar match, and Heyman just being the third wheel. You never know if he's involved or not.
Well, I got to tell you, we are rapidly running out of time here, and we only scratched the surface because we got a lot of things coming up here. Let's see, the Wyatt family going to make their debut next week. Has some very poignant videos that they've been showing. I'm kind of interested to see what that's going to be. Probably the big thing for me is going to be Vicky. The scenario of Vicky going under job evaluation. You think she's going to get canned or get promoted?
Promoted.
Promoted?
They're not getting rid of her.
I think what's going to happen. They're going to do the vote. They're going to do the vote 3 times. One for Vince, one for Hunter, and one for what's her name?
Stephanie.
Yeah, thank you. And whoever the first 2 votes are going to be promotion, and they're going to say this has got to be unanimous, and they're going to milk the last one, so Vicky doesn't know if she's going to get fired or not. But I bet it's going to play out that way.
Yeah,
I that's what I think. But what do I know? Man, I got to tell you, here, Mr. Marcus, I've really enjoyed having you on for this guest segment, but we are really rapidly running out of time.
I think he's gonna be on the next segment too.
Really do, and I hope we can have you back again here in the near future. So hang on just a second. We've got more
SCI.
You almost got me doing it. More SCI Wrestling coming up.
Welcome to today's lottery drawing, and today's winning numbers are not yours, not yours, and another number that's not yours, and the final number is not yours.
When it comes to having money, don't rely on luck. Brew your own coffee at home instead of buying that latte. Brown bag it to work instead of ordering it. Go to feedthepig.org for more free ideas on how to save. Feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
If you enjoy Ward's Daily Almanac on the radio, chances are you'd love Ward's Daily Almanac in book form. And WB is working on this, but needs your help. To donate, search for Ward's Daily Almanac on Kickstarter.com or go to WBWard.com and click on the word Kickstarter. There you can watch a video about the project and learn about great rewards for giving. That's Kickstarter.com and search for Ward's Daily Almanac or WBWard.com and click Kickstarter.
Turn it up!
That was interesting.
Turn it up!
Daily Almanac or WBWard.com and click Kickstarter.
Turn it up!
Oh, holy crap! Yeah, that's the music. That's the music for Too Cool, and I love that sound. That just makes me want to boogie.
Does it make you want to 2-step?
And here I am, the only 55-year-old white male who can still do the robot, and that really makes me want to get down with my jiggy self.
Can you really do the robot?
Yes, I can.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Of
course, nobody could see that. But
for people in America, there will be YouTube video.
Yeah, I wish. Okay, we're back here with SCI Wrestling. I'm WB Ward, and sitting on the other side of the room there is Chip off the old block, Mr. Chip Douglas himself. On the phone with us, a super fan, Marcus Hathcock, calling in all the way from the state of confusion. No, I mean Alabama.
Close.
Yeah, well, it's pretty much the same thing from what I understand. Same thing up here in Oklahoma. Okay, we are getting ready to do what we call our holy moments.
Whoa.
Sorry.
Crap.
PG. Oh, crap. I said Oh, I did
he
twice.
just did twice.
Okay, well, okay, I got to.
Come on.
Okay, we're going to have to bleep those out. Okay, it's going to be holy crap moments, and these are those beloved moments in wrestling history. When
Can we do Shiznit?
Shiznit
Yeah,
works
holy
as long as you
Shiznit.
can, as long as you can remember what you're saying.
Road Dogg used it.
He did, didn't
Yeah.
he? He did indeed use Shiznit.
Yeah.
Okay. I remember, I think I can give this plug for this retailer because I don't think they're in existence anymore. But when I was working in radio, I had to do a live broadcast from a company called, and let me slow down when I say this, City Chevrolet. And my knuckles turned white anytime I had to say that live because the slightest mispronunciation on that and you were facing FCC fines. Again, that was City Chevrolet. On all through the commercial copy, I was talking real fast like this because I was angry at everybody. I wanted you to buy your car for me now. And then at the end of the message, we were City Chevrolet because we did not want to take the chance.
No, not at all.
Anyway, I digress. Let's start with our guests. Go first. Mr. Marcus, if you had to name a holy crap moment of all time for any promoter at any time at all, what would yours be?
Well, I'm going to take the easy route and go with what's probably number one on everybody's list, and that's Foley getting thrown off the Hell in a Cell through the table by the Undertaker.
Yes.
Ooh, and we just had the anniversary of that too. It's actually last week.
Man, and well, I was watching the WrestleMania Hall of Fame, and man, that's what made him basically right there.
You know, I'm surprised. The second that I heard you say Foley, I thought for sure you were going to talk about when he was slammed into a floor full of tacks.
Same match.
That was just about every other match.
Yeah, that was the same match, though.
Same match.
Yeah, okay. But
yeah,
yes,
he went through he went through that later, but yeah, that first fall, I mean, it's the first 5 minutes when he goes off the top.
Right. Right.
Man, he probably felt like a cup of sifted flour.
That's when his tooth went through his nose.
Yep.
that man has had more injuries than Miss Piggy's had hands up her dress.
Oh my God. PG.
Now there's your holy crap moment for us, right?
Yeah.
I've had a few of those this hour.
All right.
We're going to be playing with that my bleep button with great extent.
Now you should replace the bleep with woo.
If I could find it, I would.
Yeah, if you find it, do that.
Okay. So your holy crap moment there would have to be when Mick Foley was slammed through the roof of the cage. That was at a WrestleMania, right?
No, that was the King of the Ring.
Oh, the King of the Ring.
That was King of the Ring.
Yeah.
Who was King of the Ring on that?
I think Edge won it that night, or I don't know, Shamrock or something. I can't remember what year that was.
I can't remember
Ken
either.
Shamrock. I haven't thought of him.
I remember the main event was Stone Cold and Kane.
I think it was 99. I don't know. I can't remember who won that.
Yeah.
Well, you know, everybody and their brother are going to be sending us all emails going, "You idiots! Don't you remember it was this?"
I hope
Pretty
everyone
sure it
and
was-
their brother.
Pretty sure it was Shamrock.
Okay. That'd be a good guess.
Okay, what about you, Chip? What is your holy crap?
I got two, but I'm not going to give one for right now. If we have time for a second ones, then we'll
we
go
probably
about
will.
it. For me, my biggest holy shit moment came. Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. My biggest holy crap moment came when I was. I'm sorry. I was about 8 years old. NWO, Kevin Nash for Scott Hall versus Sting, Lex Luger, Macho Man Randy Savage. Hulk Hogan walks right down that ring thinking he's going to save the day and drops the leg drop on Macho Man Randy Savage.
Oh.
You talk about ripping a kid's heart out of his chest. That was me back in 1996. But to me, that was a holy crap moment to me because of the fact that started something that took off. And for me, just to see that scenario, I mean, being 8 years old that I wasn't into wrestling like I am today, where I can kind of figure stuff out. So for to see that happen was completely unpredictable to me.
I've forgotten all about that. Yeah, and I could see that has to have been the turn of the century.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I mean, other people have turned from face to heel or from heel to face over the years. That's happened dozens of times, but that had to be the landmark, right there. What say you, Mr. Mark?
That was gigantic. I mean, yeah, nobody saw that. That was actually on my little list here. So, yeah, I mean, that was unheard of, and that was the biggest news of the decade almost.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
My holy crap of the of all time, and maybe between the two of you, you can refresh my memory because I don't remember exactly what all surrounded this scenario. But the three characters involved in mine were Vince McMahon, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and good old JR. As I recall, now this has been a long time ago, and at my age and with my memory issues, I really have a hard time filling in the gaps. But one thing I can remember is Vince and JR were in the ring. They were doing some kind of a promo with each other, and then Stone Cold Steve Austin comes to the ring, and and as you two may know, JR and Steve are good friends in real life. But this is when I believe Vince and Stone Cold were really creating an alliance between each other, and Vince had talked Stone Cold Steve Austin into beating up JR in the middle of the ring. And I distinctly remember seeing Vince on the stage with them two in the ring, and Steve had JR in the turnbuckle on the floor, and Vince was yelling, "Bust him open, bust him open, bust him open." And it really struck me that JR was willing to go through a juice scenario for the show. I'd never seen an announcer juice before, and so that was my holy crap moment of all time.
Marcus?
Yeah. I remember he got busted open pretty good at the same time. That was probably out of respect for Stone Cold since him and JR are such tight friends.
What was the issue surrounding that? Do you remember?
Man,
I know I'm really putting you on the spot, but I've been trying to think of that all night.
I think it was back when Austin and Vince got together after one WrestleMania where he turned on The Rock, and Austin had that heel, quote-unquote, turn where he was back with Deborah baking cookies and playing guitar and stuff with Vince. And so it was one of those where to really get some heat on Stone Cold, he had to kind of go against certain people like JR and really get the fans against him, because otherwise they would have still cheered him.
And that's where the Watt came from, right? As shortly after that angle.
Yeah, I think so.
And that's one gimmick I wish would really go away.
What?
What? I hate that. And the fact the fans cannot let that go. And yeah. I will bet you anything. If you surveyed audience members coming out of a WWE event, not a one of them or very few of them can tell you which wrestler started that.
Stone Cold.
Well, no, the hardcore fans, yes.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Oh, you're talking about normal fans.
Yeah, but the rest of the people coming up, they're just a bunch of, minor birds.
Yeah.
I mean, this is. I'm not just slamming wrestling fans here. I mean, I'm just talking about people as a whole. Whenever they're in a crowded environment, it's a little thing called in psychology. Anybody who takes a psychology course will learn about something called assimilation, and assimilation is something that occurs where a person will adapt certain behaviors when they're in a crowd, and those behaviors are something that they would not ordinarily do. And when they're caught up in the furor of the event with a crowd around them, they will just automatically start mocking and mimicking everything the rest of the crowd is doing. And I think 90% of the audience is just simply going through a phase of assimilation with the crowd, and they truly don't have a clue what's going on.
Marcus?
You didn't know I was so deep.
Yeah.
Very true.
Did you make that up?
True.
No. I took psychology in college.
Okay. Let me make sure. Do we have time for a couple more?
Yes, we do.
All right, Marcus, go ahead. Give me another one.
All right, since we're going back in time, I'm going to take you back probably 91, so maybe nobody will remember this, but I remember sitting as a 6-year-old kid freaking out, and this was on the set of The Barber Shop with Brutus the Barber Beefcake.
Yes.
And you've got Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty, the Rockers, and they're going to make up because they've had a little dissension in the ranks. And then, bam, out of nowhere, the birth of the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels gives him the super kick. Jannetty goes through the barbershop window. And, man, for that time in WWEF, it was pretty dark. And I remember sitting there going, no, Shawn, you can't turn on Marty. You're the Rockers. And, man.
Well, you have to understand, too. You have to understand, at the time, Jannetty was standing on stage, and he was looking away, and somebody yelled, "Look out!" And of course, with Jannetty, that it's just not going to work.
Right.
I can be such a bastard.
You can.
Yeah.
You can.
That's just tacky.
That was a really good one. Because I was like 91. I was like, what happened in 91? But yeah, that to me is, I'm surprised I didn't have that one on my list because that's a good one. Very good one. Just to see the beginning of the Heartbreak Kid. I think shortly thereafter he was with Sherry Martel to be able to do his Intercontinental Championship run as the Heartbreak Kid. And of course that started, what to be a Hall of Fame career and one of the best performers of all time.
I think my next holy crap moment was a holy crap moment that never happened, but could have happened. And that was in one of the WrestleManias. It was WrestleMania 23. And it was the holy crap moment that could have happened had they shaved
Donald Trump?
Donald Trump's head.
Yeah.
And I was beginning to wonder there for a while if the match was going to go that way, because I went into it thinking, okay, it's obvious Vince McMahon's going to have his head shaved. But there for a little while, I was beginning to wonder, and I thought, wow, this is going to be a real trip if they do. If Donald Trump actually lets them shave his head.
It would have been funny to see if he would actually have gone through with it.
I think for the right price, Donald Trump would do just about anything.
That's true.
Everybody has his price. Donald Trump certainly has his, and I'm sure that I think he would have gone through with it. Right. But it would have had to have been at the right price. Right. I really truly believe that he's the $1 million man in every aspect of the word. I think that I think Donald Trump would sell out just about anything.
Are you ready for another one?
Okay.
All right, for me, this goes back to the Attitude Era. We just seen a little bit of confusion. We've seen some invaders come to WWE from WCW, so it's right after the buyout. But this was a tag team match between Kane and Chris Jericho versus Lance Storm and I believe it was Mike Awesome. But then in the middle of the match, Rob Van Dam and Tommy Dreamer hopped the rail and started attacking Kane and Jericho. Yeah. And soon after, guys from what they thought was WWE or WWF, I think it might have been at the time, Dudley's, Taz, Raven, jumped in there just to turn on Kane and Jericho. Then you have Paul Heyman, who was at the commentator table, come back up and say, apparently you guys forgot the Tribe of Extreme. And for me being an ECW fanatic, that to me was a holy crap moment, because just to see, I mean, not really RVD, because I love RVD, but he was in WWF for a brief period, but to see Tommy Dreamer in WWF to me was like, oh, that's awesome. What do you think, Marcus?
Yeah, man, the only thing missing was Sabu.
Oh, that's
right. Sabu, yeah.
But he wasn't there. That was the only one really missing.
Yeah, he was the only one missing.
Man, that was awesome. Yeah, because I was a diehard ECW, and just the fact that you now had WCW, WWE, and now ECW, it was a great time, man. And I
really hoped, and of course, Jim Cornette, he didn't touch base on it because I think he actually hated Paul Heyman. But with the invasion angle, and he did it with kayfabe commentaries, where he rebooked the whole invasion angle, and that was one I thought they could have done a whole lot better job with, because I think it was on the same episode that they united with WCW.
Okay, now the three of us should be ashamed.
Why?
Between you, Chip, between you, Marcus, and even myself. And I didn't think of this until you just now said something that just clicked in my head. And I think we better cover this, because if we don't, I think we're going to hear from people saying, well, why didn't you say this? All three of us missed the WCW invasion.
Yeah, but we knew that.
Well, we knew that, yes, but that was a surprise to WCW themselves. It was as scripted as pro wrestling is. And as planned out and as thought out as the storylines are. This was one true sabotage story. When they went down, when DX, they had their army gear on. That was a great shot with a cannon and everything pulling right up to the doors.
Are you talking about that, or are you talking about when they actually bought WCW?
No, I'm talking about when they invaded.
Oh, when DX went to the WCW arena.
Right.
Oh, okay.
When they went down there, they were actually legally trespassing and could have been arrested And I bet you they did face some legal charges over that.
I remember Triple H like standing at, or I don't know if it's Triple H saying there or not, with a megaphone going, let our people go.
Yeah, that was, and between let's see, you had Triple H there. You had X-Pac. You had who was the other guy?
Road Dogg and Billy Gunn.
Those two guys in China. Of everybody there, they had the big cannon on there. The wrestler there with the biggest guns. China. she had the best build of them all. I mean, when she stood straight with her arms down at her side, it looks like she had 4 biceps.
God.
But that was the greatest holy crap moment I've ever seen because of the genuinality. Is that a word? Genuinality?
Sure.
Oh, okay. Because of the genuinality of that concept of where you actually saw their security guards, closing the doors and locking them, thinking, "Oh man, they are really truly being invaded here." I don't know. For me personally, that would have to be the holy crap moment of all time, just because of how genuine it really was. And Vince McMahon was eating that up.
Yeah, I mean, how much of a shoot it really was. I mean, the fact that they just happen to be in the same area. And to have the fortitude to say, hey, let's go over to their arena and let's have their fans cheer for us and tell us how great we are and how horrible they are.
Now, Marcus, I know Alabama is not far away from Georgia. Were you around in that area at the time that happened?
I was not actually. I was in Hawaii, but
okay.
But that's where I'm from. But the best part of that for me, I remember watching it live, was actually, I think it was Billy Gunn having some bushes on his head. Like, under his helmet, he had some twigs and leaves all sticking out like he was going to hide out somewhere. That, to me, is the best part about that one.
That's great.
I forgot about that.
He did have the camo.
The helmet, yeah.
They had the full camo going on that. that was pretty cool. And I would have loved to have seen the expression on Eric Bischoff's face. Because at some point, some security flunky had to go over and go, "Mr. Bischoff, you're not going to believe who's outside."
Oh, I know.
And I've always wondered if they actually did call the cops to have them escorted off of the property or not. I don't recall seeing that in their footage. Did you?
I remember they shut the gate on them because actually the backstage gate was open. And they closed it on him. In fact, I saw an interview with Kevin Nash to where they talked about that, and Kevin Nash was all about going out there, saying, "Hey guys, how are you?" But of course, that was quickly nipped in the bud because that would have been horrible for one of the main WCW superstars to be on WB TV going, "Hey, how are you?"
Marcus, we have exactly 3 minutes left here. Do you have any other holy crap moments you'd like to add in here?
Well, since it's Rob Van Dam's coming back, anytime RVD does the Van Terminator, that's a holy crapple moment for me. When he places that dude there, puts the chair and jumps coast to coast and smashes that chair into some dude's face.
Yes. And Shane McMahon thought he invented it.
Yeah, no, Shane McMahon did a knockoff version. He invented that back in 95 or so.
Are you ready to lose another potential guest, Chip?
Go ahead.
The only thing original Sean McMahon ever had was left swirling. Yeah, Shane McMahon, the only thing original he ever had was left swirling in a toilet bowl.
I like Shane
McMahon. He for me, he's like Christian. I don't buy him as a wrestler. I never bought him as a wrestler. That's just the boss's kid.
He was the best McMahon that ever appeared on television.
I totally disagree with that.
Besides Hornswoggle.
I totally disagree. I would have to put Stephanie up there.
What do you think, Marcus?
I like Shane. I never bought him as a champ or anything, but man, he would take some bumps. That one he took off the 50-foot scaffolding at one SummerSlam was pretty crazy. That's about all he would. I mean, he was good for a good crazy bump.
Exactly.
But yeah.
All
the McMahons, none of them have any. Yeah, they don't have any athletic talent. None of them. So.
Well, no, I didn't really feel that way about Stephanie until after her boob job. Once she had that, then I was thinking, yeah, this is going to work.
It very well did.
This is definitely going to work. Of all the shows that we've done so far, I think this one by far is the most colorful.
I agree.
That we've had. And it's also the longest. I can't believe it has almost been an hour.
Yeah. First hour episode.
First hour, yep. Up until now, our longest is what, 40 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did that one odd length.
Yeah.
But, and part of the credit on this Mr. Marcus has to go to you, sir. So thank you for helping us make this zip right by.
No, I appreciate it, guys. Hope to be back again.
Okay, well, listen, thanks a lot for calling in there, Marcus, and I hope to be talking to you. And be sure to be listening to SCI Wrestling. And Chip, remind everybody where you can hear that.
SCI Wrestling on Twitter, SCI_Wrestling, YouTube, SCI Wrestling, and Facebook, Squared Circle Insider Wrestling. Like us, tweet us, whatever, watch us, listen to us. I've been saying it, we will be on iTunes soon. I promise. I'm working out the details and trying to make that happen.
And remember, if you're listening to us in Connecticut, WWE will be glad to let you on. So we'll see you next week right here on SCI Wrestling.